right, cool. I'll talk to you later.
Sounds good.
All right. Like anything's coming up.
All right.
I'll see you.
Tom, you all ready to go?
Yep. You going to pop us up on the screen?
Yeah, I'm going to hit the intro, and then
Okay.
we will get you going. We got Bryan Miller and Officer Dave are in studio with us here. So
and then Harvey Levin is called in or not?
He has not called in yet, but he should be calling in any second.
Okay. Do we have a descriptor for him, Andy? Because he's not on about his regular show. He's on about a different show.
Yeah, he's...
Where the hell did that go? Okay, Kristen Perch there, Tim Hammers, Andy. Yeah, I don't think I have it.
I'll copy and paste it into...
Yeah, because he's got a new show he's talking about, but I don't have it.
Do you have the... There's a descriptor in the calendar.
Can you print it, Andy?
Yeah, I think I can print it.
Okay, Andy's going to try to print it on this area.
Oh, okay.
All right, so we're ready to go when you are, and Andy can print it. He's going to print on this printer, Andy?
I will try.
Okay. Right. We're ready to go, sir.
All right, here we go.
Welcome to the family with...
Sir Dave?
7, didn't he?
Andy Brant Bernard?
Mr. Money Talk, Josh Arnold.
Yeah, where the hell is he?
Wow, it sounds just like him.
Yeah. And Bryan Miller in studio with us as well, which is always a good thing. There's no question about that. So
I'm in your chair, by the way, Tom.
You got the chair?
Yeah.
They gave me the chair.
Now you're talking. You're going to be running the whole setup, the good stuff. No question about it. Josh is going to be on the show, but he's going to be remote because he has a flight he has to catch. That's why he didn't come in today. We've got a great guest. Harvey Levin's coming in from TMZ. He's talking about a new show that they have, that he has. I shouldn't say they have, but he has. But he's always been a really great guest, so he should be on any minute so we can all talk to Harvey. Mr. Levin about, you guys watch that TMZ, that 20 mile zone is what TMZ stands for?
Not my,
I thought it was
not my
30.
deal.
I didn't know that.
I think it is 30 mile zone. I think you're right.
I had no idea that's what that meant. I'd never even questioned it. It was just TMZ.
I didn't until yesterday when Dad said it.
Yeah, it's 30 mile zone. It's not 20. I said
So
20.
there you
It's
go.
30 mile zone, which is basically the area around Los Angeles and the goofy crap that happens inside that TMZ.
Well, there is a lot of that.
There is a lot of that. There's no question about it. But so how's everybody? Everything else good?
Everything's phenomenal.
All right, Andy, we can bring up, once Harvey gets on, we can bring up Josh.
Yes, Josh should be getting the StreamYard link at any minute.
Yeah, we're just waiting for him to sign on.
Typical. That's all I have to say is typical. So I heard that it's going to be like in the low 40s next week in
That's what
Minneapolis.
they're saying.
That's pretty damn cool. That doesn't happen very often.
They're talking a little bit of rain. If we get a little bit of rain and 40 degrees, there may be a Mustang sighting this next week.
Mustangs. Oh, that's right. Your Mustang. You brought that over to Andy's house one there. Okay, I want to run this by you guys because I ran it by Tevin already and AJ. Friday is America's favorite night for pizza. Here are the worst possible toppings. I went with sauerkraut, and then people got mad at me because they thought that German pizza is good.
You used to like the Tom Bernard over at Red Savoy. It's got sauerkraut.
Oh, that's
on
right.
it.
It's got sauerkraut. My own pizza has sauerkraut.
Well,
Whoops. Way to go, Tommy. Way to pay attention, buddy.
I mean, I'm sure number one is probably pineapple because it's like it's the most controversial of topping pizza. I bet anchovies are on there, even though they are the best pizza topping.
You know who doesn't appreciate Hawaiian pizza? Hawaiians.
Probably.
Because it was in no capacity invented in Hawaii. It was invented in Canada. And my good friend Kermit Apio is Hawaiian, and he's very into his culture.
Yeah.
And
he's a great
guy. Let me
guy.
tell you, if you want to Kermit doesn't curse on stage. If you ever wanted to get Kermit to curse, just bring up Hawaiian pizza and say how you really like it. He might start cursing it.
Well, it's funny you mentioned Canadians because you do the same thing to Canadians with Canadian bacon. They're not going to be happy with
Hawaiian
it.
pizza.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, Canadians, they're like, it's not Canadian bacon, it's just ham. We don't call it bacon up here.
So it's a ham pizza.
Yeah, it's a ham and pineapple pizza, which, I mean, it sounds Hawaiian. Well, ham and pineapple is Hawaiian, but not on pizza.
Yeah, I suppose that is true. Well, is Friday pizza night for your family? If so, you're in line with the average American, what they're doing. Pizza Hut's annual pizza report found Friday is the most popular day of the week to order. Yeah, it is for us. Friday is usually what we get pizza on Friday, or Saturday, I suppose. A few stats: America's pizza eating habits, including the worst possible toppings. The average person has pizza 3 times a month and eats a total of 8 slices. The top pizza eating states are North Dakota, New York, Minnesota's number 3, and Wisconsin's 4. There are no Italians living in any of those areas.
Well, it's not really
Well,
an
New
Italian
York.
food anymore.
Is pizza really Italian?
At this point, no.
Probably not
It's
anymore.
been appropriated.
But yeah, you got North Dakota, Minnesota, Wisconsin, and New York. Those are the 4 top
Yeah,
places.
but like 90% of the North Dakota ones are Heggies.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You know what? That's
I think
true.
yeah, between Sansevier and North Dakota, Heggies is going to be fine.
Oh, yeah.
They'll make it through somehow. Thin crust is now our favorite type, getting 28% of the vote. Stuffed crust is next with 20%, and then thick crust is 14%. The most popular thing to dip it in is ranch. I do not dip my pizza in anything.
No.
If
Right.
you've
Not
got to
dipping
dip
my
your
pizza.
pizza, there's something wrong with your pizza.
I agree. You're
There's
absolutely right.
enough flavor there already, thank you.
Yep.
They dip it in ranch dressing, which I don't like anyway. It's too sweet. I don't like ranch dressing. You like that stuff?
Meh.
No, it's
No.
horrible.
Nope.
It's terrible. It's followed by garlic sauce. No to that too. Hot sauce is distant third. No to that too. No, don't mess your pizza up by putting that crap on your pizza. What are you
I
doing?
will on a buffalo chicken pizza. I will douse it with Cholula or something.
That's a little different though, because that's almost like you're doing it to the chicken, which happens to be on the pizza. It's kind of like you're following the chicken
You're
rule,
not wrong.
and the pizza is the
Yes.
vessel for the buffalo. This
Exactly.
I'm completely down with that.
I like it. New York style is the most popular type pizza, followed by Chicago style. Only 3 states prefer something else: Detroit style in Michigan, St. Louis style in Missouri, and people in California supposedly prefer California style pizza with non-traditional toppings like avocado and arugula. Oh, aren't you forward thinking? Oh, God.
I'll tell you, Domino's makes a phenomenal spinach and feta cheese with
Oh, yeah.
Alfredo sauce on in that
Greek
thin
pizza?
crust. Oh, it's so good.
See, the
Really?
thing about Detroit style is if someone described literally anything as Detroit style, wouldn't you assume that means the worst version?
Yes.
If
absolutely.
someone said this is a Detroit style remote control, this is a Detroit style car, this is a Detroit style.
Wait, whoa.
Maybe car actually
I
is
have,
the only
I have
exception.
3 Detroit style cars here.
That's
Come
a car might be the only exception.
on. Okay, thank
That
you.
actually might be the only exception. Everything else you go, no, so, well, how's your wife? She's Detroit style. You're like, I'm sorry.
Okay, so now I have to ask this question in the proper way because Josh just popped on. So I have to ask it this way. So, Josh, do Jews like pizza?
I like pizza. I think most Jews like pizza.
Are you working out right now?
It's not a Peloton.
Are you on the Peloton?
No, we don't have a Peloton.
What are you
Well,
on?
then you're standing very strangely.
Well, I got to be
So
honest with
we're
you
sitting on a bike, but not
Okay.
a Peloton.
Oh, okay.
because I'm telling you, if you're not sitting on a bike, you're all of a sudden Stevie Wonder. He's going like, everybody say it, yeah.
I'm not blind.
So, Josh,
I might be
what's
deaf.
the latest? I might be deaf.
That's it.
Josh,
I do like to dip my pizza in some extra sauce.
Really?
Yeah.
But what kind of sauce?
What kind of sauce? The great marinara sauce.
Oh, so it's the marinara.
Can't you just get it with extra sauce?
I get it with sauce. I like to add extra sauce.
Wow.
I also like to have extra cheese, along with spinach, peppers, and onions, and extra garlic.
It sounds like you just want a second pizza.
Yeah, just get 2 pizzas.
That's right. Get
There's
two
someone
different
who
Too
can-
much bread.
and you're
As
good to go.
Someone who can bowl through a pizza on his own. There's always 2 pizzas ordered.
hmm
That works for me.
And of course, you could also have a calzone.
I love calzone. Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay, now, the most frequently ordered topping is still pepperoni, but what's something that should never be put on pizza? The top answers were, this should never be put on pizza.
Lead flakes.
Oh, you're close.
Arsenic. Fire.
Number 5 is kiwi. Ugh.
That would be really bad.
That'd be really.
Why would
too
one do
sweet.
that? That's insane.
Exactly. Plums. What?
So basically fruit.
Well, I'll tell you what.
Hold on. Why do
Brewers,
people
they
eat?
make it
Why
faint.
do people eat Hawaiian pizza with
Well, yeah,
ham
sure.
and pineapple? I don't get that.
Broder's does a fig and prosciutto pizza that is very good.
Oh, that
I
could be
bet you-
good. Yeah.
That would be good. Fig
Yeah.
would be good. Okay, so you got the one things you should not put on a pizza are kiwi, plums, blueberries, beets, and fish.
Yeah.
Well, anchovies are fish, though. So
Well, that's
they're
true.
wrong. Shrimp, yeah. Well, our
I've had
shrimp
a
aren't
shrimp
fish,
pesto
though. They're
pizza that was solid.
crustaceans.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a different deal.
Yeah.
No question
that.
about it.
I don't know. I've had a New Haven pizza, which has got clams on it, and that's
Huh.
tremendous.
Really?
Yeah,
Clam
there's
pizza.
not a lot of sauce on that, but it's clams, cheese, extra garlic.
You know what I love? We go to Josh Arnold and he has to prove to everybody, look, I don't have time to fit in work with my exercise. So I'm going after from all sides. Big shot.
Big shot. There you go.
Well, I'm doing Kegels right now. You just can't tell.
I don't want to know.
Oh, you're kegling? Good. Glad
Oh,
to
yeah.
hear
Oh,
it.
good.
Right under the
That's
table.
it.
All the time.
I got a pregnant man. That's it.
Well, it's not looking like Harvey's going to be calling in, huh?
Art said that they tried calling, but then we didn't actually get a call. I'm wondering if they called the wrong number.
Yeah, no phone or no call in the call history on the phone. And
Yeah, I think they might have had the wrong number or something. We'll
that's too
we'll
bad.
figure it out. But I don't. Yeah, I think he had to move on.
Well, if he did, he did. I can't worry about it. Yeah, if the phone numbers didn't get locked in, what are you going to do? We'll try to get him another, because Harvey actually is a very good guest. Harvey Levin from the 30 Mile Zone, TMZ. He's got a new show coming on now about how scary it is to be living in America with all the murders going on and nobody ever get. What I love is you murder someone, but that's okay. You don't need to go to prison. Like, what? When did we get there?
There's so many directions I could go with that one, Tom.
Oh, we'd like to hear that.
Well,
Come on, Super Dave. Let it out.
Yeah,
Let it
Super
out.
Dave.
And I would be curious, Dave, because obviously everybody wants to make a lot of reforms to the police force in Minnesota. Like, do you have any ideas on how to make it better? Not as from a reform everything, but as far as a quality of life for police officers, because that's a big reason.
Yeah.
It's overworked or understaffed. Is there
Yep.
things that we can do to fix the understaffing issues?
first of all, support your local police department.
Yep.
That would be number one. Don't sell them out. Don't have them evacuate their precinct. I would love to see the return of the beat cop or
Love beat cops.
neighborhood policing more.
Mm-hmm.
That's the way I tried to run it, but I worked in a suburban affluent city, so it was very easy for me to do that. But first of all, they have to have backing from up above the city all the way up to the president of the United States. But honestly, we're not getting that. So that's how I think it would change if there was more of that. Can we get to that? I don't know. But for the murderers getting out of jail, that's not on the cops. It's
No, of course not.
100% on the robes, 100% on the judges, all of it.
I'd like to do my impression of Bryan Miller as a police officer. Walk up to a guy, go, how are things going today? Two guys walked into a bar, but one of them wasn't you because you're going to jail. What do you think?
I might work that in. I could do it.
I could work that.
Oh,
in.
I always like when they serve people like legal papers. The guys are kind of like ninjas, right? They pop into places and they give. Wouldn't that be great if I was on stage and I'm in the middle of a joke and I just lean and go, and by the way, sir, your ex-wife would like to give you these. And just hit a guy with papers from the stage.
That would be brilliant. You're doing crowd work and you just, what's your name, sir? And like, oh, my name's Roger. You've been served.
Yes. Oh, Roger Feldman from 314 Pleasant Avenue. Hey, here's your papers. It's like one of those things where they say they're going to give everybody free Raiders tickets and everybody shows up and it turns out they've all got warrants or whatever.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Why did it have to be Oakland, California? Oh, Raiders are now in Vegas, though, aren't they?
I think they actually
Yeah,
did
the
that, didn't
Raiders-
they? I
yeah,
mean,
the
it's in
Raiders
Serpico,
They did, yeah.
but I think they actually did that with Raiders
Yep.
tickets one
Yes.
time.
They did. When they were up in Oakland, California at that time, I believe, was the situation there. Hey, Josh, did you just fall off your bike for a second there?
No,
Well, the
did not
camera.
fall off the bike. You'll hear it if I fall off.
Oh, the
There'll
camera
be a
just
lot of
went,
moaning, groaning.
a lot of that.
There'll be a lot of that.
All right. All we do is take care of people out there. Make sure you haven't fallen and hit your head or things like that. You know what I'm saying?
I do know what you're saying. There'll probably be a little blood as well.
I'm too far away to render aid, Josh. So be careful.
This is kind of like life alert for him, though.
Yeah,
We're all keeping an eye on him.
That's
Ooh, life
it.
alert.
Falling and he can't get up.
How
That's
old do you have
right.
to be to get life alert? Don't you have to be like 85 or something?
We got it for my mom, or we got a variation of it for my mom when after she had her first amputation, and she was only in her mid 70s at that point, or early 70s. So yeah, you can get it at any age. You live alone, and
you can get it at any age, but having things like Medicaid pay for it, it depends on the jurisdiction.
Oh, is that right? They don't pay for it some
In
areas?
Florida, it looks like they will pay for it at 60 or older, or if you're 18 to 59 and have a specific disability. So if you're 60 or older and you don't even have a disability, you can still get one.
Really?
Yeah. So there you go. Might as well.
I would just recommend, like I have on my wrist, get an Apple Watch.
Yeah, they'll do that.
All those nice features to it.
Yep.
Whereas
Yeah.
if I start talking about Apple Watch, then I'll talk about Apple, and then I'll be plugging a stock that I happen to own, and then somebody will say, "Oh my goodness, I bought Apple and the stock went down." So if I talk about stocks, do know that it's my opinion, nobody else's opinion. It may or may not be suitable for you, so make sure you contact your financial advisor before you invest. But Apple has got a phenomenal watch with all kinds of health features. And that one feature alone, if you fall down, it will spot where you are and make the 911 call.
And if you just bump your arm, it does the same thing, and you get a false.
That's very
It does
true,
that
by the
too.
way. That is
It
very
does
true.
that too, but it'll at least warn you and start buzzing on your hand. Did you fall down?
Really?
Are you okay?
Because I've responded to Apple crashes that were completely, a lot of them that were completely bogus.
Oh, yeah, that happens a lot. There was a picture that's been floating around where there was some gym where you can connect your Apple Watch and it'll compare everybody's heart rate in the gym. And somebody was there late at night. It was like 2 a.m. as they're closing, and somebody's heart rate was at like 176, but the gym was empty. And so like, oh, they left their Apple Watch on while they were stupping it home and broadcasting.
Oh, sure.
I was gonna say I don't want Apple to know what my arm is doing all the time. That's
No.
not some information Steve Jobs or anybody needs. That's for me to know.
A lot of north-south movement on that.
Yeah,
wrist.
he's apparently climbing a very small mountain. He's in a hurry. Oh, he got it.
It's a nice touch. There's a nice touch right there. That's all I have to say. So what else is going on in the world? Anything important we should be talking about? Because I just looked at
How about this? The consumer sentiment numbers, better than expected, much better than expected. And the consumer sentiment numbers come out of Michigan, the University of Michigan. And I would say, of course, the Michigan consumer sentiment numbers are good because the University of Michigan's football team happened to do, I think, pretty well in some championship game recently.
Sure.
And one of the things I found a while ago is that the University of Michigan sentiment numbers seem to coincide to how well Michigan sports teams were doing that previous week or previous month. So if the coach of the football team happens to leave and go to another team, that could have an adverse effect on the University of Michigan consumer sentiment numbers. But in any case, that was very positive and hasn't been this positive in 2 years. We also had some inflation numbers that came out today, and they were headed down, not up. That could be a nice boost for those that think the Fed is going to be cutting interest rates this year sooner rather than later. I'm of the opinion that the Fed which is quote unquote penciled in 3/4 point rate cuts this year, but has not given the timing of that. I'm of the opinion that the Fed will probably cut once before the election, and then any cuts will be after the election. The Fed could probably maintain their mantra of higher rates for longer to continue to bring down inflation to their 2% target. That said, the personal consumption expenditure index, which I am told is a favorite inflation indicator for the Fed, has been under that 2% level or for the last 6 months. So we will see with that. Oh, one last thing in terms of the economy, because many strategists have been predicting a recession this year and also a market sell-off of significance, and have suggested sell stocks or reduce your stock exposure, increase your bond exposure. As the Fed is going to cut interest rates, bond prices would go up, yields would go down. Well, that's pretty much the same recommendation that most or the majority of strategists gave last year, and that did not work out. I do not think it's going to work out again this year. And in addition, not that this is any large predictor, but I don't know why Tom is not in Davos, Switzerland, with all the other elite leaders of business, commerce, and government. But business leaders meeting in Davos, Switzerland this week have indicated that they do not see a recession in 2024.
Well, that's good.
Which is a lot better than what they saw last year when they did see a recession that didn't happen. So you can take that for what it's worth, but you, as one of my friends has said, you get what you expect.
You know what I really like about that whole deal, and I might move to Switzerland just because, well, first of all, Lake Luzerne is one of the most beautiful places I've ever been, but they asked all those meeting in Davos what they thought of a presidential election, and they said, really doesn't matter. You know, we got the current guy, that's fine. You get Trump in there, that's fine too. They don't have this panic and wringing of hands and crying and weeping that Americans do about who's going to be president. They go like, don't worry about it. Whoever the president is, financially it'll be taken care of. So that was good news, I thought.
I thought that's very good news.
Yeah.
Some people are finally getting smart. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, if you have enough money, things don't affect you. It's pretty great.
Well,
It's just if you don't have money, then horrible things happen to you and your life is ruined. You know.
All right, Brian, get out.
go get a job. Get a job.
Get a job, damn it.
You don't like the one you've got? Get another one. There are plenty of jobs out there.
But, you know, you sent me that information, Josh, and I checked a couple of other places. America seems to be the one place on earth that really loves to wring their hands over politics. My God, we lose it over politics. Other people go, you know, the guy won, whatever. Good, yeah, like in Switzerland. Oh, that's the guy? Okay, good. We'll see what happens in 2, 3, 4 years, right?
Yeah.
They don't go into a panic like Americans. Why are Americans such panicked people when it comes to voting?
Media's made us that way.
There you go.
Yeah.
24/7 news cycle.
Yep.
Instead of 3 or 4 channels, we have 900 channels, an awful lot of news and commentary channels. And as my father-in-law used to say, gotta fill the airtime. Gotta fill the air.
And conflict. Got to have conflict. If you can't,
Yeah, good
you have to
point.
create conflict in every issue to
Yep.
make the story sound interesting, even if it's very obvious one way or almost everyone agrees on another side.
Yep.
But the amazing thing to me is it's never we're halfway there. It's if Biden stays in office, that's the end of democracy. No, if Trump gets elected, that's the end of democracy. So either way, it's the end of democracy for some people, which
How
is
many
complete
times have we
bullshit.
heard this is the most important election of our lifetime in
Exactly.
the last 20 years? I mean, really, I really
It's
think
true.
probably since '04, every time they've said it. It can't be
Yeah.
true every time.
No.
It might be true one of the times, but it can't be haven't been true every time since 2004.
It is unbelievable. What's the top rate right now, Josh? The top interest rate for borrowing?
For borrowing, what do you want to borrow one? You want to borrow for your house? That's
Yeah, let's go
with a house. House mortgage is 7% right now.
That's pretty high,
that's-
isn't it?
Well,
It's pretty
it's
medium.
high for, we'll say, the last 10 years.
Yeah.
It's a high rate.
Right.
But if you look at baby boomers, such as yourself, myself, when you bought your first house, you probably paid above 7%.
Oh God,
It was up
to
to like
It
15%.
was
I think.
15% at
Yeah.
that time.
Wow.
I didn't pay it 15, but that was the high rate. Yeah.
So people were still buying houses at that rate.
Mm-hmm.
And later, they were refinancing at lower rates. And I am of the belief that if somebody were to buy a house today and be able to and get a 7% mortgage sometime in the next year and a half, they could refinance that rate and it'll probably be down in the fives.
In a year and a half. Well, that's good news. That's exactly the reason I asked that. So we got about another year to 18 months and the rates should settle in nicely.
Yeah. I'm not, again, I'm not running out to buy bank stocks, but
No, right.
interest rates should come down. And I think they'll come down, particularly with mortgages at a reasonable rate. The other issue is the number of apartments that are being built right now,
Mm-hmm.
and they're at fairly high costs. And there still is a pretty good demand for housing, for apartments, but apartment rents are starting to roll over and head down.
Good. I'm glad to hear that.
So
Because,
that's another. I'll say housing costs are about 35% of the CPI number. So if housing costs start leveling off, heading down, the CPI number will fall pretty rapidly.
Yeah, that sounds good. I had a listener to the show send me a picture. They went out to dinner last week. He didn't want to say where it was, but then whatever. But he ordered a steak dinner, and his steak dinner was $100. $100 for dinner now at a restaurant.
Well, take a look at what the cost is getting going to McDonald's. A Big Mac, fries, and a Coke. I think that's going to be $15 plus.
Yep, I think you're absolutely right about that. $15, and I know when McDonald's first opened in Minnesota, because there was a place called The Clock on West Broadway. It was right across from North High School, the old location of North High School, and you could buy a hamburger in there for 19 cents. I don't think you can do that anymore, and I don't think those days are ever going to return where you can buy a burger for 19 cents. Now, that wasn't a Big Mac or anything like that. It was just a regular hamburger. And I do believe White Castle at the time was still 12 cents per little burger.
Now, let's see. What was McDonald's? I think McDonald's was 15 cents.
I think you're absolutely right.
In New Jersey when I first started going there. I think you get for 50 cents you can get 2 hamburgers and French fries.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right about that. And the reason to keep an eye on that is I read an article, I guess about 4 or 5 days ago, that said to live a nice median territory life for a family in America now, they need an income of about $98,000 a year.
Yeah, I
That's a
believe
lot.
that.
Okay, well, here you go. If you had $1 million and you were to invest it, what I call my way, you could generate an income of about 10, hold on, 100 million, it'd be $100,000 a year
Mm-hmm.
using a concept called systematic withdrawal, where you invest for growth and you sell off a portion of that growth on a monthly basis. And it's a concept that I learned from one of my investment heroes, John Templeton, in 1980. Of course, your principal is going to go up and down, but I have found through a lot of years of doing that, as long as you don't take more than the agreed upon amount from when you started, you should be fine for a very long time. The best example that I can use of that is one of my clients who's still living, who invested about $250,000 in 1990 when he was forced out of a company. He needed some supplementary income. We took out $2,000 a month from that.
Yeah.
He today is 83 years old. We figured out that he has taken out about $1.4 million over that 33-year period of time. And his account is worth about $1.2 million. So if you think here's 1990, the 90s, 2000s, the 2000 teens, and now we're in the 2020s, there were numerous periods during that time when his principal decreased significantly with the stock market, but he did not take out more than the agreed upon amount, for a significant period of time. And then as he needed more money and the rules relating to required minimum distributions took in, he had to take out a lot more. So that's probably the best example of it, but it's real life, real time for a real person.
Yeah, it makes sense. Bryan Miller, I've never asked you this before, but you might be the only comedian that I know that works the stock market. Do you? I don't even know if you do or not, but you give me the impression that you'd be pretty interested in the stock market.
No, I actually have a
Really?
bit about how people think that I have money or understand it, but no,
It's the glasses.
It is. That's literally what I did. That's the bit. The bit is about having the glasses. No, because when you have these glasses, people assume that you read a lot, but all these glasses proves that I've read as an eye chart, and I got it wrong. So no, no. I'm a hill person from Kentucky. Ultimately,
A hill person from Kentucky. Well,
I
there
am
you
a
go.
hill
Landon.
person from Kentucky.
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
Like where in Kentucky?
Paducah, Kentucky.
Oh, the Duke of Paducah.
Absolutely,
my
yes,
gosh.
the Duke of Paducah. Yeah.
I might be
Oh
the only.
my goodness.
Oh, you know about that, Josh?
Oh,
The Duke
I
of
know
Paducah?
Paducah. Oh my goodness.
Oh yeah.
That has always been one of that's been a standing joke in our family ever since my father-in-law used to call on some paint suppliers and hardware stores in Paducah.
It is a
But-
comedy
oh my
name. It is
goodness.
often just tossed in as like, what am I, from Paducah? Which is, you hear that you're growing up and you're like, but I'm from Paducah.
But I'm from Paducah.
It's like, oh my goodness.
The Duke of Paducah, he was at the Northrop Auditorium many years ago, opening for Hank Williams Jr., and I was in the record business then, and I was talking to the Duke of Paducah backstage, and he's about to go on. He said, well, Tommy, it's nice talking to you, and don't forget, this is the best advice you're ever going to get. That's the way it goes. First your money and then your clothes. And he walked out.
Now that is Kentucky investment advice.
Yeah, there you go, right there. Oh, I loved him. He was a great guy. He's been gone now for about, 35, 40 years, something like that. Because that was back in the day, ladies and gentlemen, I'll tell you that. But, yeah, I love Kentucky. There are very few places I've ever been in America I didn't like. You guys go to places No, Brian, you must travel a lot to do comedy. Are there places you don't like to go?
It's not. Every state has its virtues and its downsides.
Yeah, true. Yeah,
and Kentucky, a beautiful country. I mean, the rolling hillsides of Kentucky,
Yes,
gorgeous. The thing I like the least is those kind of small to medium-sized towns that all just look like the same interstate stop. It's just the Applebee's and the what. It's
right.
I don't even care what your town is like. I want it to look different than the town I just left. And so I like the more distinctive the town, the more I like it. Even if it's kind of jankety sometimes, you're like, yeah, but it's got charm, it's got character, it's got texture, as opposed to just like how many sort of strip mall, interstate stop towns. I find those just tiresome.
Yeah, Tevin might get this reference. You got your Range, Wisconsin.
Yes.
I don't know if I've been to Range.
If you did, you like blinked and you went right through it. It's
There's
like
a place
people are
called-
on the side of the road.
Sure. Well, I mean, I've worked in a lot of those towns in Wisconsin. I mean, I'll tell you the worst place. The worst place I ever been was Missouri Valley, Iowa, which is right on the border, very, very far southwest Iowa. And I'm not kidding. When I drove through, it was a plague of frogs. So I'm driving to the gig, and there's so many frogs on the road. They're bouncing off the hood of my car. And boom, boom, boom. The headlights were like pink because of all the frog blood on the front of the car.
Oh,
I gotta walk across this field. The field is just boiling with frogs. So I'm just walking over all these frogs. I get into the hotel, and I said, "What's up with all the frogs?" And the lady at the hotel goes, "Yeah, I guess there's some frogs." Some frogs. It's all the frogs.
I would have not made it to that show. I'm not. Nope.
It turned out to truly. I'm not. It turned out to be a white supremacist bar, which I found out when I started doing it's the only time I ever worked for this booker. By the way, he'd never been there. He was just booking stuff on calling it. So I went to I was the opener with John Conray, a good friend of mine. And as soon as I went to start the set, this guy from the back came and sat in the direct front table, kind of so he could kind of be a disturbance, him and his girlfriend, and sort of having just a regular full volume conversation. And then when I tried to like, hey, what's up with you, fella? He just pulled up his sleeve and showed me all his Nazi tats. And so I was like, oh. So then I just didn't acknowledge it because what are you going to do? And then everybody else in the bar pulled up their sleeves. And then, so, yeah.
Say good night.
You know what's crazy? This is how dumb I was as a comedian. I was like, well, I got to finish my time. And so I did like 20 more minutes. And then I wanted to go back to the hotel room, but I didn't want to leave John by himself. So I'm like, John, I'll stay here with you. And then as soon as John got off stage, it was like, all right, Conrad, we're going back to that hotel. And we ran back across the field of frogs and locked our hotel room doors. Man. And then while we're sitting there, John goes, I think they know we're here. I drive a Prius.
Yeah, that could be a problem. Many years ago, I don't even remember where the hell we were. It doesn't matter. We went into a bar, and I was probably, I don't know, like 30 years old, something like that. So I'm having some cocktails in there, and these guys come over, kind of the guys you're talking about. And he did the same thing because they like to apparently do that. They pull up their sleeve and show you the Nazi, the swastikas and all that. And so he pulls it up. He goes, what are you guys thinking? You're not from around here, are you? And I said, no, I'm not. Where are you from? I'm from Minnesota. He goes, oh, yeah? Well, look at this. I said, yeah, what about it? He goes, it's got some power. I said, power? They lost the war. Don't you know that? Oh, he didn't like that at all, man. He did not care for the fact that I was bad-mouthing the Nazis because they're a bunch of losers. Oh, he did not like that at all.
I could totally see you doing that, Tom, too.
After a couple of cocktails.
It's historically accurate. I mean,
it's historically accurate. That's exactly right. The symbol originally came from where? Somewhere in North Africa, I think.
Hinduism uses it a lot.
Hinduism, that's what it is. Okay.
A lot of places actually
India?
use it quite a lot still.
Oh, do they really?
Yeah, very common in Southeast Asia, for example.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I think even if you used it before the Holocaust and the Nazis,
afterwards, you got to find something
I
different.
kind of agree. It's like if your name was Adolf and you're in 1920, you're gonna go by Jimmy or something
Right.
after a while,
like
you know.
like his mustache. I'm sure there were a lot of people that wore that style mustache back then.
Chaplin. I mean, famously, Chaplin was
Yeah.
incensed because Chaplin was very liberal, and Chaplin's making movies during the rise of Hitler, and is getting increasingly irritated. Basically, the horrible policies, but also he's like, but people keep identifying me with him, which is why he winds up making The Great Dictator, which has become one of the first like anti-Nazi, anti-Hitler films, which was very controversial. But Chaplin was like, I'm not shaving my mustache. That guy sucks, and I'm going to make a movie about it.
He's like, I got to reclaim my mustache.
Yeah.
Well, I just saw something on one of the news channels that there was a very specific reason why Adolf Hitler cut his mustache down to that little 1-inch strip on his upper lip, but I cannot remember.
Was it like a surgical or a wound or a surgical scar or something?
Maybe something like that, but he did it for a very specific reason. I do know that.
We got to get a really evil dictator with a stupid handlebar mustache so we can get rid of those. Like those.
I know,
with
for
the
real.
swoops. We got to get somebody to do something bad so people stop doing the swoops with the wax. I hate that.
You know what really pisses him off, though, when you do this? And from what I understand, I've done a lot of research on this throughout the years, but if you mention to somebody wearing the old swastika on their arm, did you know that Adolf Hitler was gay? They do not like that at all.
I bet not.
And it's historically true. He was gay.
Yeah, right. Because the Eva Braun, there was like a sham marriage at the end, right?
Exactly.
Yep.
Yeah. So they don't like hearing that part, though, either, I guess. It's like, what do you, he was an evil dictator. What the hell do you care what he did with his wiener?
It's like a weird line to draw at a certain point.
It really is when you look at it, but,
He also
whatever.
shot a dog. So,
He did.
we're going to pile on.
Oh yeah, that's right. I've heard this
People
story.
get mad about.
They say that he had the small mustache because larger mustache made it so gas masks wouldn't seal.
Oh, that's exactly right.
There's
That's exactly
proof
right.
either way, but it is. I mean, he did before he had his small mustache. He did get gassed during World War One, so it might have been like maybe I gotta take care of this mustache situation.
With a bigger mustache.
Yeah, he had a Kaiser mustache when he was younger.
Yeah, he did. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
That
No doubt
gas
about it.
mask thing actually makes a lot of sense, though.
Yeah, because World
you
War
fought
One
World
was
War
like
One. That was
yeah.
a going concern.
Yeah, it sure was.
I was in the fire service for a little while. It's like they don't want your full beards there either because your masks don't fit.
Yeah, my best friend's a fireman, and he's always got to be clean shaven. And he said even if you wanted to try to push it a little bit and have a little something, he goes, it's just going to get irritating.
Yep.
We have to keep the respirators on and all that
Oh,
stuff.
yeah, sure.
Plus,
That
I
makes
know
sense.
what I look like because my brother has a beard and it'd be all white. It wouldn't look good.
Oh yeah. I get patchy. It doesn't connect. I get good portions of it, but then there's kind of missing spots.
Oh,
It
yeah,
gets
me
real
too.
bad fast.
I don't think any of my maybe did any of my brothers ever have a beard?
Mustaches, but not beards.
Mustaches, but not beards. And I don't know if you can grow a beard in my family. Same thing Brian said. My beard is 5 different colors, and it's in about 5 different patches.
My dad had a great beard. That's what I could never get.
Really?
My dad could grow a killer beard in like 2 weeks. It just skipped me somehow.
Not you, though, huh?
No.
It's just the way it is. So, Josh, what else you got? How long are you going to be on that bicycle, man? You're working out like a madman.
Nah, I'm not working out. It's just it's a seat and it's got some pedals.
Something to do.
Something to do.
I'm going to do this for the rest of the time you're on, though. Everybody say yeah.
Yeah, when I stand up, I'm gonna have like roller coaster legs from watching that bob to the side.
You're going to have to be bobbing around the
Motion
room.
sickness.
Yeah, exactly. Take my Dramamine.
No question about it. Is there anything in that? Because what I'm doing lately, and I got to be honest with you, I can watch CNN and Fox, 45 seconds on CNN and 45 seconds on Fox. Is there anywhere to go get news now without a big bend on or a big weight on one end, whether it's too far left or too far right or whatever? Is there any news channel
What
out
is
there
that?
that just gives you
News Nation.
News Nation? Is that good?
That seems to have a little less. Well, it does have a lot of commentators, but that seems to be pretty good to get some news.
Yeah, because I need something like that. Because right now, basically, I am hearing 2 things. From CNN, I'm hearing that if Trump gets elected, it's the end of the world. And from the other side, the Republicans, I'm hearing that if Biden is president one more term, that's the end of the world. So we're screwed either way.
Well, it's
Yeah,
a good
it
thing
kills
you don't
me.
listen to MSNBC.
Yeah.
But you're gonna see. you go to the CNN website and the headline sometimes will be like analysis or commentary. I'm like, how can the top headline be analysis?
Yeah, it's not a headline.
Be news.
It's not news, is it?
Yeah.
Absolutely true, Brian. 100% true.
Now, see, I just have either Bloomberg News on or CNBC. So again, somebody's always talking to me. You're only thinking about the money. But they have a lot of what I'll call news updates. So as we're speaking, news update on CNBC. U.S.-Mexico resumed border talks. There was a cargo plane fire. Precision moon landing. No,
All in the same story. That's a big story.
Yeah,
three different stories. But here's just straight up news.
It's News Nation, you said. That's where I should go.
Yeah, News Nation. They have news. They also have some commentary, but it's I can't say there's anybody that's far left or far right. Kind of in the center for all the commentators. You can watch. Bloomberg has got some pretty good news, plus some interviews, and that seems pretty much straight up. And they just list right on the TV channel with Bloomberg all the headlines from around the world.
Oh, so that's good. That'd be good.
So then you can go in and get all the headlines.
I mean, the problem I have with the whole thing is that if you watch CNN or Fox, you have to ask both stations, how did the two worst human beings on earth get back-to-back presidencies? That's quite a coincidence, I would say, that this horrible Trump was president and the horrible Biden followed him in back-to-back, two horrible presidents, maybe the worst of all time, according to the news.
And you can say the same about the last set of presidents, by the way, in terms of the news coverage.
Yeah, no, it's absolutely right.
Oh God, yeah.
You can never. Hey, this is it. We both agree this is a great president. I've never heard that in my life.
Or just what about a meh? He's all right.
Okay.
I mean, that seems like a more likely outcome.
Yeah.
Indifference would be nice.
I don't know. You talk about your life, Tom. If I go back, the last great president, just in thinking about the news, was John Kennedy.
And look what happened to him.
Look what that guy.
Everybody else since then is a horrible president.
Who was a horrible president?
Everybody else since John Kennedy is a horrible president, according to the news.
Yeah, well, that's right. According to news, you're absolutely right about that. And I do have to believe with the one part of it's true, because if I were a reporter that went to the White House for an interview and had to interview Lyndon Baines Johnson while he was sitting on the toilet, I wouldn't really care for that. He used to do that all the time, I guess. I'll tell you what, I got some business to do, but you can come on in and ask me some questions. He'd drop trow and sit down on a toilet and do the interview. What was that? Is that a control issue?
Oh, that's a huge power move.
It really is a huge power move, isn't it?
No, we'll wait till you get out.
Yeah, I'll wait till you get out of the toilet, and then, I'm going to be in there for quite some time. Yeah, washing your hands would be good too, but I don't know. But I did like the fact you sent that to me, Josh, where the people over in Europe go, good. One of them's going to be president. Trump's going to be president. Good. Biden, good. Who cares? It's not a big deal. Don't worry about it.
Well, here you could look at an interview recently of Jamie Dimon, the CEO of J.P. Morgan, interviewed on CNBC the other day from Davos. Talking. He was asked about the presidential election, and basically, you don't care. Trump has did these good things. He did these bad things. Biden's in office now. Our bank survived and thrived over this last 8 years. It's going to continue to survive and thrive no matter who is president. End of story.
Yeah, I mean, we're not going to all cave in because of who the president. Does the president stand alone? Does the president even have that much power anymore?
I don't know.
The last guy sure seems to imply that he's going to do some dictatorial things. I mean, he literally said, "I'll be a dictator on day one." I mean, I was like,
no.
For
he
one
says
day.
he says that the
I'll
president
be
should
a
have complete
dictator for
immunity
one
from all
day.
crimes.
Here, I'll be if I were a dictator for one day, I'd close the southern border and drill, baby, drill.
Yeah, that's what he said.
Just drill.
Okay, well,
everything.
guess what? That was part of his campaign promises when he ran in 2015 and 16.
I'm just
Close
saying
the
he
border.
literally claims that he's making the legal argument that the president is above all laws.
Well, that
That's
is
illegal
technically.
being put forth right now.
Well, yeah, that is. I mean, technically, that is what is said in the Constitution.
That is not true. The spirit, the entire spirit of the Constitution is based on two things, which is if you just take a bird's eye view of the Constitution, it's based on exactly two things. One, people should have some voice in government, some representation. And the second is no kings. That's if you just ask yourself, why did the American Revolution happen? It was for those exact two reasons.
That's
so
true.
the idea that any unitary executive could be above the law is the most fundamentally opposed thing to the Constitution that there could be.
But I have my
Well,
argument
here,
to
I've
that
got a
is-
question for you. You know, what about every president that has passed executive orders?
Well, that's not saying they're above all the laws. Now, I don't think executive orders are necessarily a great thing. I mean, we're going to talk about the broken nature of Congress and the inability to get any even basic things passed. I mean, basically, this is going to get tied up in the entire founding system of democracy. I'm talking about take a step back. If the president is immune from all crimes, that is a fundamental contradiction to the Constitution. And I don't think that's complicated.
No, I don't think it is either. I mean, we're on both sides. We're in the situation where, well, first of all, bringing all those charges against one president's a little ridiculous. You went a little over the top with that. But by the same token, Hunter Biden's going to be excused. If he's found guilty, his father's going to let him off. And you know that. Now, he wasn't president, but his father was president, and he's going to let him. He's already said, even if you sentence him to prison, he ain't going to prison.
Has he said that?
Yes, he has.
I mean, this goes back to what Billy Carter and Roger Clinton.
Yeah, right.
Right. Remember, was it Roger Clinton, right?
Roger
Wasn't that
Clinton,
his
yes.
brother?
I haven't thought of him in a long time.
I know, right? Roger, dude, this is when politics were fun, when we had like a Roger Clinton on the scene.
I
You know,
understand.
Billy Clinton was, or Billy Carter.
Billy Carter,
Billy
because
Carter.
He had his own beer.
he had his own beer, Billy Beer.
Yes, sir.
When did they stop making Billy Beer? It wasn't
About
like
15 minutes after.
yeah, it was at
started.
about. Have you ever had a Billy Beer?
I
Yes.
was
You
like,
you were definitely too young for
12
Billy.
years
Tom, you ever
old.
have a Billy Beer?
Yes.
Were they any good?
It was okay. It was, actually, Billy gave it to me. He handed me a 6-pack of his
Really?
beer. Yeah.
You got Billy Beer from that's
From
cool.
Billy Carter, yes. It was.
It was produced for a little over a year.
It was only a year. Wow.
my dad had a 6-pack of that. Yeah, he got it from somewhere. But my dad delivered beer. So,
Oh,
so
sure.
it was like
Yep.
one of the bars or whatever.
So it was kind of like a novelty thing.
Yeah,
Somewhat.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
Because it was a little bit before my time, but like I used to, I'd steal a hit off the old man's beer when he
Oh.
wasn't paying attention,
Hey, I drank hams when I was a baby.
I like
Me too.
hams right now. I do hams.
See, Tevin?
Tevin doesn't like hams?
I made the mistake on talking a little shit about Ham's beer, and Officer Dave was not having it. So now
Ham's Bear's coming after you,
I
my
am
friend.
a huge supporter of Ham's beer since that moment. Officer Dave is much.
Sure.
I like a hams, I like a stag, I
Sure.
like a Lone Star.
Yes, I start my morning every day with bacon, eggs. and
Ham,
ham
actually, I would argue hams is the best breakfast beer. It's very light.
It's a ham.
breakfast beer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pork chop and
Theodore Ham Brewing Company, baby.
everything. Yeah.
We had pretty good beer, Grain Belt and Hams. They were both pretty
Yeah.
good beers, I would think. I was at the Union Liquor Store in North Minneapolis when I was about 18 years old. Because of my size and my voice, when I was 11, they thought I was 25, so that worked out really well.
Oh, nice.
A guy walks in there, and he puts down a 6-pack of Hams beer. And the guy said, that'll be $1.50. That's about that. The guy goes, oh, I've only got $1. And they said, well, there's some beers back in the back there. You can just grab one of those 6-pack. They're under $1, so that'll solve your problem. He goes, oh no, I'm only drinking the good stuff. He's got $1 to his name, and he's going to dictate who's serving him what.
Split the pack.
Yeah,
So,
Yeah,
I'll buy
That's the
half of
solution to
this
this.
3-pack or
Four
6-pack.
cans instead. Yep.
He was
do this,
very
Matt.
upset. He was very upset, so I duked him 50 cents and never saw him again. But I kicked in 50 cents so he could buy his 6-pack of beer.
You're a good man, Tom.
Yeah.
Told him, don't get behind the wheel, though. And he goes, the wheel of what? I don't have a car.
Oh, that's good.
So that was a good thing.
A car,
Yeah,
that's
bring
like 100 cases of hams.
Exactly right.
I've got a picture of my dad from the late 50s. He's getting into the 57 Chevy with a can of hams in his hand.
Oh,
Hey, it's still legal in Louisiana, I believe.
Texas, too. Yep,
Yeah,
down
you can
there.
have a roadie.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
really? You can have a roadie in Texas and Louisiana?
Yes.
Yeah.
In Louisiana, they have drive-through liquor stores and drive-through,
Yep.
like going to McDonald's, you can buy a daiquiri and they hand it to you and off the road you go.
As long as you are not impaired,
Yes.
you are good to go. You can drink behind the wheel.
They used to have what used to be called Jug Liquors on Washington and West Broadway. I don't know what it is. It's like it's a little print shop thing now or something, but it's a little tiny building. And you could drive right up, or whatever you wanted. You got the bottle of whiskey, you got a case of beer, whatever. They'd hand it to you right through the window. But that only lasted a couple of years. So was that illegal in Minnesota at one time or something?
No, it was I'm sure when Dad was on the beer truck, there were a lot of places that we would go that had the drive up window.
Oh, really?
And
Yeah, there you go.
used a lot.
They have in Illinois too.
Yeah.
That's a big drive up liquor.
Yeah.
I don't recall seeing them in Minnesota. The liquor store by my house during the pandemic and still does. You can just park and like Target, right? They'll bring your booze to your
Right.
car,
Right.
which is kind of the same thing. But I don't know that I've seen a drive up window in Minnesota.
No, I don't think so.
No,
No.
Jug
Used to
Liquors
be-
is the only
used to be
place I know.
around, but I think
Yeah.
they fell out of favor with the Volstead people.
The Volstead people. That's a good pull. Oh, nice.
The Volstead Act.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a good deal. Got a couple of minutes left. Any closing comments? We'll go around the circle. Start with Josh. Well, no, you know what? We'll finish with Josh because he's working out.
Okay.
Ooh, can you dismount at the end like a gymnast?
Yeah, do the spin
Yeah,
move. That'd
good,
be good.
good luck with me dismounting.
All right, so Officer Dave, any closing comments?
No. Everybody enjoy everybody. Be nice to everybody, and don't make me come after you.
I like it. Tevin?
Pray for your Minnesota Vikings because if Kirk Cousins leaves, we're all screwed.
Now, wait a minute. Is there any chance the Vikings might go after the Michigan head coach?
No, I think he's pretty much going to the Chargers, and
Is
we're not
he?
going to AFC. And it's not because I think Kirk Cousins is great, but if he leaves, our options are either a rookie quarterback or people like Carson Wentz, Teddy Bridgewater.
Yeah.
Whoa. Teddy Bridgewater was here once before.
Yeah, we can bring him back. He hasn't really panned out to do much, but the list of names is like a Jacoby Brissett type. Not anything that's going to wow you. So it might be a long year next year for us.
All right, we'll do it. Bryan Miller.
Oh yeah, catch me. I'll be at Laugh Camp tonight and tomorrow in St. Paul, and also I know you got a lot of Louisville listeners. I'm going to be at the Louisville Comedy Caravan on Thursday, February 8th to the 10th. So all the Louisville listeners come out and catch me at the Comedy Caravan in Louisville. It's a fun
There you
place.
go, Joe.
Back in the land of my birth.
There you go. You know that to this day, and that would have been about 60 years ago, when somebody says the word Louisville, I think about Muhammad Ali throwing his gold medal into the river after winning the Olympics.
Yeah, and they have a Muhammad Ali museum in Louisville.
Yeah, they do. I thought that man was the greatest of all time.
Oh, yeah.
And so did he. He thought he was the greatest of all time.
He was right.
He was right. Andy, closing comments.
No.
Okay. Josh, you get to wrap it up, pal. What do you got?
Next week continues big earnings with Intel amongst other companies. We also have Netflix coming up, and then Microsoft, Google, Meta coming up in the following week, and then after that, Apple and Amazon round out some of the big tech companies reporting earnings. Do be prepared for a little bit of pullback after the earnings reports. Should the companies be a little bit cautious in terms of their guidance? Meantime, these stocks still, in my view, offer plenty of upside. Short term, I do like some of the casino stocks, including favorite DraftKings, which is approaching a recent high, and Flutter Entertainment, which owns FanDuel, is going to move or going to list on the NYSE at the end of this month, and may in fact even spin off FanDuel. FanDuel and DraftKings are the two leaders in online casino gambling and online sports betting.
There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. We'll close with this. What will we find out after an hour on the air? There was never a bicycle, that Josh was having sex the whole time.
I was going to say earlier, this is like his wife's eye view.
That'll do it.
There you go.
Have a good weekend.
You too.